my offer
to
get us through this. Yes, sir.
How about after the budget hearing?
We'll rediscuss that, Mr. Foley. You know, I just couldn't do it all, and I feel like that everybody in the county deserves to be treated fair. So I'm willing to move some of my people around to try to get the same level of service to every elementary school, and I cannot sit here and tell you that I would be able to continue to do that in another budget year without at least looking at it. Yes, sir, I try my best too, but you know, I can feel confident in talking to my command staff to make you a commitment tonight through the remainder of this budget, but I would really need to readdress that with issues and call rates that could come up between now and next July.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question. Sheriff, during the breaks in school and during the summer vacation time, do you utilize these officers in another way? Yes,
sir, very much so. We utilize them during the summer. It's a real good working relationship for a law enforcement agent because, as you know, during the summer it's a heavy vacation time. So I've got those slots that would come back to me. So, you know, I'm talking 9 months in a full year, and now I'm talking less of that in this budget year because as soon as school was out, they could revert back to their original positions. And when we have resource officers that are resource officers, we use them in the paper service area, and then to fill in for my regular staff when they go on vacations. We try to hold our vacations to the time that resource officers are available to us.
So these officers that are used for SROs and intend to be used are fully trained deputy sheriffs?
Yes, sir. I have that capability at this time to switch some officers that are trained right over to resource officers in the elementary field.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're talking about 3 of these being at some point rotating through a municipality. If there is a major incident in that municipality where that, and it's not something threatening to that school, will that resource officer be pulled out for that?
As the rules are written now, yes, sir, it's an understanding that if there is any major event that happens within the law enforcement service, that our resource officer could pull out.
Right. So
and the same being the other way around. If anything happens in the school, everybody in that municipality or the closest location will respond to that school. We just had a training this weekend, multi-agency training at Franklin High School for that very purpose.
Okay. Any more questions for the sheriff?
Sheriff, so your discussion with the chiefs, all the chiefs are on board with cooperating with you in this effort?
Yes, sir. There was some concern with Franklinton because they had a middle school already in the city limits that they would love to take up the Franklinton Elementary School, but when we discussed the chance that we were going to have to split and rotate, or rove as I called it, out of the municipality or the jurisdiction, everyone understood. And I guess the synopsis that I could bring back here is every chief that I spoke to was willing to do their part to make sure we got some law enforcement presence in the school earlier than we have at this time.
Commissioner Dunstan, just to follow up on that a little bit, I too followed up with the town managers, and the town manager also brought up the possibility as an idea of maybe SRO covering both the middle school and the elementary school, but I didn't feel that the school staff were going to want to give up the middle school in that scenario, and the flexibility that we talked about here I think is greater with the model that we're looking at. We were trying to meet the need in the most cost-effective manner, quite frankly, and with the resources that we have, just to kind of get this started and to evaluate it as we go. The original request was to have an officer at these schools, and at least that gives that presence. I think what the sheriff just spoke about, not knowing the predictability, not knowing exactly when that officer is going to be there. Obviously, the school personnel would need to know that, but the general public, not necessarily knowing a fixed schedule. And as things go on in the community where the schools are located, it may mean that one school gets more attention in a period of time than at another time. I think this is one thing that we came up with, and just as an idea, and the board chairman indicated he wanted to have discussion at the board level about that, but I think we also need to look at the at-risk money that was identified for the grant, and for the board to have a little bit better understanding of what we would be giving up if we continue to plan to use that at-risk money. And we could maybe addressing that or Dr. Bridges even.
Yeah.